Howdy y'all. Cindy from Brett and Cindy's Tea and Living, and today is, it's the end of the year. What is day? December the 29th. New Year's is just around the corner, and it's been a while since I've done a video about my lovely medical condition, conversion disorder. Brett and I have decided I didn't like the way the medication was making me feel, and I had thought that my conversion disorder was taking a different turn, but as it turns out, no, it was the medicine I was on. So Brett and I made an executive decision. I don't think my doctor quite agrees with it, but you know, it seems to be the right decision for me. I quit taking that said medication. And since I have started feeling better. I started feeling more like myself. I've gotten my confidence back, which is something I really do like. The ability to know that I am who I think I am. But it also has me really searching who I am. And I am striving right now to figure it out. Because there's so much going on around us right now. And it's so easy to get distracted from what we are supposed to be doing and why we do what we do. I have had some issues. I've had some real bad issues. I started 2020 off, you know, everybody, let's be focused on the Lord this year, and I was anything but focused on God. As a matter of fact, I was about as far away from being focused on the Lord as I could possibly get. And it all came to a head on December 19th. That was my son's birthday. We had celebrated the night before because he had to work. And I almost throwed away 13 years of sobriety because I did no longer want to deal with life. Everything I said I was going to do, I didn't. I wanted to draw closer to God, didn't do that either. As a matter of fact, I drew probably further away from God than I ever have in my life. And I keep looking down because I'm fiddling with a puzzle. 500 pieces. It's supposed to be an 11 by 14. Yeah, it has got itty bitty pieces. But it's got me thinking. I do this to deal with stuff, to problem solve, I don't know. I just started doing it back when I first started having my issues, and it just seems to be the thing to do. But in doing that, I said I was close to 13 years, throwing away 13 years of sobriety. It should have been a happy day for me. It was my son's birthday. But I had let all this junk that has happened throughout the course of this year really weigh me down. And the fact that my son is 17 and so independent, it's not even funny. I guess it was depressed. No, I'm pretty sure it was depressed. Because see, I fought temptation before when I was tempted to go and give up and go back to the way things were. But that night I did one step further. I actually went in the liquor store and bought my favorite drink and brought it home. I didn't have the strength to not buy the drink, but I did have the strength to do one thing, and that was text a friend and say, I just went in the liquor store, bought my bottle of my favorite drink, and now I'm sitting on the front porch trying to decide, or trying to talk myself into not opening it up and just downing it right now. Because I'm really thinking, maybe this wasn't such a bad part of my life after all. She came and took the bottle out of my hand and prayed with me and told me I was stronger than that. And then Sunday night, I'd been fighting back and forth, and Christmas was not the same as it has been in the past. Very different. Brett and I just started talking about new traditions for Christmas. Because everything we normally did, we didn't do this year. And we decided, you know, sometimes change may not be such a bad thing. And I started coming snapping out of things a little bit. But now Sunday night it really hit me. Really hit hard. And it was from a pastor friend who we watch church online. He was talking about the Christmas lights at Dollywood. He wanted to see them and wanted to know. He asked one of the workers there when they turn them on, and she said, "Well, honey, they're already on." But see, the light outside was so bright you couldn't see the Christmas lights themselves. It wasn't until the darkness come that you saw the light. And when he said that, it got me really thinking. I was like, oh, whatever. First time I actually paid attention to the message in a long time. And it really started me thinking. I have some friends I text periodically, and I texted one. I actually had the thought on Sunday night, but I didn't text it out to them till Monday. And then I called it Maniac Monday, because that's about how I felt about the whole situation and everything going on. I felt like it was a Maniac Monday. And it was about getting a whooping from the Lord. And I wanted to share it with them so that they could hold me accountable. And I told them, you know, I was blaming menopause, I was blaming mood swings, whatever. But the truth of the matter is, for the first time in a long time, I went back to the old way of doing things. Watching shows on TV. Well, I don't have a TV, I have a cell phone. So I get on my cell phone, and you know, YouTube, you can watch anything you want to, but I even subscribe to one of those Hulu. It's like Netflix and stuff like that, where you can watch all your favorite shows. And I was sitting there watching, and I did seriously sit here like this right here, and watched the entire series of some of my favorite shows that I used to watch all the time. And just put myself in a mindset that I did not need to be in. And as I was standing there, I probably had said every cuss word that I have ever said in my life in the last few days. And they rolled off so easily. And I just kept saying, oh, I'm in a bad mood. It's just menopause. That's what's on. But then I went to my phone. I was washing dishes. I went to my phone, and I saw all the crazy stuff I'd been watching on YouTube, and I almost put on what I called drinking music, the music I used to listen to when I drank. But then I felt like God stopped me with a whisper. No, turn that stuff off and honor me. And for the first time in a long while, I let Him whisper to me, and I actually listened. So instead of my drinking songs, I turned on my gospel songs. I still did the I know, I know, I know. It's a bad thing to say. You know, my kids always say, I know, I know, I know. It'd make me so mad. I figure God gets us mad too. But you know, I was sitting there going, I still did the I know, God, I need to stop that junk, but it's just so hard. And He said, apparently you don't know, or you'd stop. And that thought hit my head. I was like, oh, snap. I felt that one pretty hard. Have you ever noticed when someone tries to help you, see where God is trying to take you? We say, I know. But if we really knew, we would not need someone to point it out to us. God guides us every day of our lives. And the I know isn't the way to go. Well, that was Mondays. Then last night, wasn't tempted with the drinking songs. I hit my play songs, and I felt the Lord just really kick me in the hind end again. He's like, are you going to delete that Hulu? And like I said, I don't have nothing against shows and stuff. I know for me, I can't watch shows. I can't watch TV programs. I'm not one that can go to the movies and watch a cool movie and not, I don't. It's because when I watch the show, TV shows, when I watch the movies and stuff like that, I get to thinking, God, what's so bad about this world? What's so bad about being a part of it? What's so bad about that or this or that? Things I know Scripture tells me is wrong, I start justifying because everybody else is doing it. I mean, look, right here it is, every day, on the shows. So, you see, I can't watch shows like that. So when I look at the YouTube, so I'm like, okay. So I sat there last night and I deleted Hulu. Delete, click. I'm like, okay, God, my songs are on my YouTube. Well, the playlist is actually on my YouTube channel. So I could go to my channel and hit the playlist without ever going to YouTube itself. Okay, that's good. And so I had a book that I had started a few years ago. Picked up and started reading. It's kind of like the Bible written as a novel kind of thing. It starts like in Genesis with creation and goes all the way to Revelations, but it's like told in a story style, not scripture style. It's like somebody took the Bible and made it a novel. And I started reading on that again last night, and as I was reading, something hit me. And I'm sure it was God still trying to get my attention. And it says, the mouth of hell is not opening every day because I want it to. It's opening every day because people are doing what they want to. See, the shows I watch, things go on in it that never should. Sin is sin. It doesn't matter how you color it. We as a society makes one sin worse than the other, but a sin is sin in the eyes of God. It doesn't matter what it is. But we accept some sins over others. And God says they all are the reason the mouth of hell is opening. And I remember a message series my pastor did called Mighty Misfits Marching for the Master. And it was about people who messed up but still became mighty men and women of God. Of course, David comes to mind every time I think about that message. Because King David royally messed up. I mean, he had an affair with a married woman, then had her husband killed to cover the affair because she got pregnant. Now, didn't mean he went without punishment. He got punished. The baby died. And when they told him the baby died, they all expected him to lose it. But he didn't. He learned. Honor God in all things. Scripture tells us he's a man after God's own heart. We all make mistakes. It's what we do about them that makes us different. I thought for the longest that, and I told him, and I did, I finally owned up to it last night. I'm like, God, I feel so fake when I talk to you. I feel like I am so fake that I am just playing a role. Well, actually, I am not fake. I'm different. And different because God tells us to be set apart from the world, not be part of it. If the world loves you and thinks about you and holds you with high regards and does not think something bad about you, you might want to check yourself. I sure did last night because I was sitting here going, God, why is it so bad to want people to accept us and to like us? And it's not. What's bad is when you do stuff that you know God don't like to get them to like you. Because I got to a point this year where I really didn't care what God thought about me. And my favorite one I use a lot. If nobody else cares, then why should I? And I gave up. It's not an option in this life. I began 2020 with the goal of getting more focused on God, focusing more on him and what he wants in my life, and I done the exact opposite. I got so unfocused, it wasn't even funny. So I'm not making plans for 2021. There'll be no January 1st, here we go, here's what we're going to do. There's not going to be that this year. No way, Jose. Because see, the devil doesn't know the heart or my thoughts. He only knows what I speak and what I do. And that's what he holds me accountable. You know, that's how he tempts me and tries to, he doesn't trick me, he just tempts me and deceives. Because you see, tricking means that I have to actually be stupid in his ways. And I'm not. Because you see, if he can convince a third of God's heavenly host to turn their back on God, and they saw God every day and lived in heaven with God every day, I'd be stupid to think I was anything but susceptible to the deceptions. Because if he can convince a third of God's heavenly host that saw God every day, it wouldn't be hard to convince somebody who sees God through other things. I mean, Adam and Eve, one rule: don't eat the fruit of this tree. God provided everything for them. They had one rule: don't eat that fruit. This devil took that one rule and deceived two people who walked and talked and saw God daily. We'd be fooling ourselves to say, I can't be tempted. We'd be fooling ourselves to say, I'm above it. But we'd also be fooling ourselves into saying that God is not more powerful. Because when we give too much power to the enemy, by letting him think that he knows our thoughts and our minds. See, God tells us he knows the thoughts and the intent of our heart. Only God knows what's going on in here and in here. The devil don't know jack. But he's very observant of what we say and do. He listens to what we say and he watches what we do. How do you defeat Satan? You watch what you say and you watch what you do. Two things I didn't do this year. Two things God says, let's work on. We make mistakes. That doesn't make us a failure. We may fail, but that don't make us failures. Because you see, failures are the ones who fail to get back up. You make mistakes, you just own up to it and say, God, I'm sorry. I messed up. I've been doing that a lot in my mind the last few hours. I didn't say days, I said hours. And I think that's why this video is so important that I do. It's taking responsibility for the failures. I've alienated myself from so much this year. A lot of people may not even notice, but I did. And a lot of people might not even know anything about it. God does. Being accountable. I spend a lot of my day today reaching out to friends and saying, hey, hold me accountable. Don't be afraid I'm going to get mad and walk away. Speak your mind and tell me, kiddo, you're messing up. Straighten up. Because then only in holding myself accountable will I ever actually get to the place where God's trying to take us. God is trying to move us from one place to the other. And in the words of a dear, wonderful friend of mine, who's no longer on this earth, but her words hold true. God doesn't have a problem. He only has a plan. I've been saying I'm faking it till I make it. I finally understood this year why she said that a lot. Because she always looked like she was the happiest person in the world. Without a care in the world, without a problem in the world. But she had problems, she had issues. I mean, she lived her life with a bullet in her head. She had struggles. But when you asked her how she's doing, she'd say, I'm blessed and highly favored. Because she tried to see herself through the eyes of God. That's why when I'd say something negative, she'd remind me God doesn't have a problem. He only has a plan. That's what I'm reminding you of today. God doesn't have problems. He has a plan. He has a plan for your life. If it takes turning off the cell phone, turning off the TV, refocusing. Remember at work yesterday on a room in the house for a prayer room, a place to get away that's nothing but things that reminds us of God. And to just lay the phone down, walk away, and go into that room and close the world away and focus back in on God. What does 2021 have in store? I have no idea. But it's going to be a wonderful ride because God makes it that way. Have a great day, and God bless you.